We will never know if it was causation or correlation, babe. We will never know. No one wanted me. When I'm on a walk, I would always look behind me. I did some things that honestly made me feel sick. I can answer a really gruesome question and act as if I'm telling you what I'm having for dinner. Welcome back. It is... Actually, I've recently found out that it's not just Sexual Assault Awareness Month. It's also Child Abuse Prevention Month. So that's what I've gone for in the titles of my videos. Assault is with an adult, abuse is with a child. My second video goes through my teenage years. The first one goes through my actual childhood. This one is going to go through... This one is a bit of like a here, there and everywhere. These are like topics that I've not gone into detail on my other videos, but I've just found a few things that are a bit different. People don't normally speak about paranoia, hypersexuality, therapy, coping strategies, all of that. Let's start with therapy. I did touch on the first video that I did not get therapy as a child. I didn't get any form of therapy. In primary school, I did have a little group that I went to. We were like once a week, but it was not, obviously wasn't formal therapy. It was just hanging out in a group with children that have probably also been through something. Nothing happened till about year 7, year 8. So I was like 12, 13. I started asking questions. I started going to mum and being like, I was like saying to my mum, like, why this, why that, like trying to get a lot of clarity on what happened, because I kind of had like no clue. I was definitely trying to figure out what was going on, because I was like, bitch, I remember pieces, but I don't remember a lot. I remembered like near to nothing. And just to clarify, it was my mum's partner at the time. So I don't know, that's just like, I don't know. She wouldn't have known. As much as it's my story, like the fact that she had to like deal with everyone around her, obviously being like, how'd you let that happen? Because like no one would have known, I don't think. Like he did not make it. He clearly obviously didn't make it obvious that he was a right creep. I got a therapist or a counsellor in school in year 7, 8. I think she was quite helpful. Obviously, a lot of the time with school counsellors, it's not great because you're on a time limit. They only obviously like can offer so much time because they've got such a large waiting list. I don't know if I got like the proper help I needed, but it was something, you know. I'm not going to complain because I think she was a really nice woman. I moved schools during COVID, so year 9, started year 10. And I had I want to say two counsellors in that school. This is the same school I went to sixth form in as well. I had one woman, and this is going to be so interesting. I think people will find this really interesting. She did like REM sleep therapy, I think, or like she tested it out, and it was so weird. So I'll touch into like why I got this therapy in a minute, and how much, like I'll talk about the paranoia in a minute. She would like, obviously you follow someone's finger like side to side whilst saying certain things, or she would ask certain questions or certain phrases. I don't know, it's a bit juju. Like people obviously think it's a bit like, but honestly I do, funny enough, I don't know if it's like placebo, or I don't know if it's just because I thought it would happen, it did happen, that it did actually help. We will never know if it was causation or correlation, babe. We will never know. Also, I had another woman, but I did not like her. Like, she was a nice woman. I do feel like there was a slight language barrier sometimes, but also everything I said, she would just go, bitch, don't do that. One, you might see, I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to seem understanding, but you're literally doing the opposite. You're making it seem like everything I say is just going in one ear, out the other. Like, where's the conversation? I need conversation. And she would ask really bizarre questions. Like, she'd be like, how do you feel? And I'd be like, anxious, I don't fucking know. And then she would be like, well, what colour is it? And I'm like, who? She would be like, where in your body is it? I'm like, well, probably my chest. That's where you feel anxiety, isn't it? Or your stomach, I guess. And I'd be like, my throat and my chest. Go figure. And she would ask me what colour it was. And I was like, what colour are my feelings? Are you okay? I mean, I don't know if there was like a genuine approach to it, or she learned it from someone. I don't want to be rude or discredit like what she's learned, but at the same time I was just sitting there a bit like, does this work on your other clients? I had this therapy along secondary school because I had a lot of paranoia and a lot of bad habits like self-harming, self-sabotage, depression, anxiety, like everything, you know? So I would get very paranoid, and I did talk in my last video about how there were essences of attention seeking and exaggeration because I was practically calling for help. I was like, help me. I didn't feel like anyone was helping me or on my side. I didn't feel like I had anyone. Especially in like year 10, I felt like I was just getting very paranoid. Like I kept turning around to like the door. Like I kept, you know when you just play every single scenario in your head, like overthinking pretty much. I think about everything. I would literally think, oh, what if he comes in holding a gun? How am I gonna prepare for that? What if he comes in and he grabs me? What if he comes in and he shouts at me? What if he comes in as a cover teacher? You know? All of the different scenarios that you would think would happen in a school with like a stranger, I kind of just played them all out in my head. I knew I was protected at home. Obviously you're protected in a school to a degree, but like if I was in a classroom and say say I was in psychology, who's gonna help me? When I'm on a walk, I would always look behind me. Every time a man walked past me, I would just get a bit of this like feeling in my body. I'm literally scared of all men. I'm literally scared of all men, and I still am. I still get that feeling sometimes, quite a lot of the time, especially if I'm on a walk and there's no one else on like the road, or like maybe not many people on the road. I still distance myself. Every time I walk past someone, I distance myself. So I didn't really have a coping strategy for that. My coping strategy has been, for the entirety of my life, is to just deal with it and give it time. I would sit with my feelings. If I'm feeling depressed, if I'm feeling so overwhelmed, what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna sit and cry. If you feel like you need to cry, go find a safe space for you to do it. Whether that's on a walk, whether that's in your room, whether that's even in the fucking bathroom. I know not everyone has the luxury of having their own bedroom, but anywhere you can get that, find it. And then when I got to sixth form, I was talking to a woman, and I don't know if she'd ever want me to say her name online. I can't lie. I'm just gonna like refer to her as like her, I guess. She was incredible, and if she ever comes across this video, I'm like, she was just, I can't put her into words. Like I genuinely can't put her into words in anything other than incredible. Like she knew me and understood me on a completely different level. Not everyone's gonna ask questions. Not everyone's gonna be like, so like have a conversation with me about it. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. Babe, don't be sorry. Like, ask me a really gruesome question. I can answer them. I can answer a really gruesome question and act as if I'm telling you what I'm having for dinner. When people like just say, oh my god, I'm so sorry, like I get it. It's a natural response for everyone. But at the same time, I'm like, but if you really want to show that like you're sorry, maybe just like talk to me about it. Or just be like, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about it now? Do you feel like you're getting in the out of the other end now? Like, yes, I do, but like I feel like some people are just scared. Some people are scared to ask questions, and I guess that's okay, but I just wish some people weren't so scared. I wish some people let curiosity get the better of them. I do. I can't lie. So I really just coped with dealing with all of it by myself. In year 11, in April, I met my boyfriend. Well, I didn't meet him then, but you know what I mean. I got with him in April. So then I didn't really have to deal with so much of it on my own. I knew I had him, and even if I, like, not even just in the sense of, like, venting to him about it, just having him, like, having his affection and his love and physical touch, because I feel like physical touch makes me just feel, like, nice and safe and secure. Just having that makes you feel, like, 20 times better when you're going through something shit. I do feel like I lent on him a little bit. I do probably do now. I don't know. I can't... Honestly, I don't know, because one, that's for next video, but two, I just don't really know if I lean on him too much. I definitely did a few years ago, I guess, just for I definitely lent on him for all of my emotional support. But I guess the good thing is, like, I opened up to him very, very early. I open up to friends very, very early. It's kind of a common thing. Like, if I meet you, you're probably going to know about it in, like, 30 working days, okay? Time is the biggest healer by far, 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 okay? Time is just, ugh. Nothing's better than time. Don't distract yourself, babe. Do not distract yourself. One of the worst things you can do when you're feeling like shit is go do something else. Sometimes it might work, okay? Sometimes it might work, but a lot of the time it's very, very helpful to just sit with it, get it out, and then move on. Because otherwise, how are you going to move on if you're bottling up? It's still in there. I mean, it's still always going to be in there, but it's still in there. I wanted to touch on hypersexuality, and I know this is a very common thing with sexual abuse and sexual assault. Very, 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 very common. And it's the kind of the sense of like over-sexualizing yourself, wanting to be seen sexually, craving to be seen sexually, craving men, craving sex at probably quite a young age. Like, obviously this is also a very normal teenage experience as well for some people, that like they want a boyfriend at like 12, 13, like that. Like if you want a boyfriend at 13, like it's still completely normal. It doesn't mean you've got like hypersexuality like tendencies. But I don't know if it was like linked, but I always like craved attention, and I always want men's like, I just wanted that validation that I was like pretty, and they're like, you know. And I guess it is a bit fucked up sometimes. Like, it's a little bit of a fucked way of thinking. But, you know, I always wanted to be validated by guys, especially like when I was like 15, 16. I just want someone to want me, because no one wanted me. No one wanted me. No guy wanted me, and I just sit there and I think, why? I'm so funny. My driving instructor actually told me I was funny today, and I was like, oh my god, it's so nice when someone like new and different tells you you're funny. I'm like, oh fuck yeah I am. And why do you think? Well, he's not gonna know about it, is he? But anyway, I just think, what was I saying? I just wanted, I was an attention whore. I was an attention whore, and I'll scream it to the rooftops. I was an attention whore at like age 15. I did some things that honestly made me feel sick. And like, you did not need to do that. You didn't need to crave that attention. You didn't need that attention. You know? A little bit depressing. A little bit concerning. Now I'm like 19, I look and I see like people's stories that are like younger than me, and I'm just like, one day you will learn that you do not need a man's attention, okay? You'll find a man organically. You'll find a man naturally. It might be on Tinder actually, so don't take that. But you'll find someone, and it won't be like that. It won't be transactional. But yeah, I think a lot of my tendencies do go back to like, no one wanted me, so why the fuck would anyone now? Like, I feel like I'm so alone. I've always been so alone. I've literally healed myself, okay? I was molested multiple times at 5 years old, and I have dealt with the repercussions of it physically on my own, the mental part on my own, the emotional trauma on my own, the social bit on my own. Okay, I've done everything by myself, and I've had to learn in my relationship that, like, you know, he can share some of the load, but every single part of my life I've done by myself. Even when I was 7, I started doing my own hair. When I was like, I don't know, 7, 8, I think, I started washing myself and doing, like, showering myself. I literally did everything by myself. I learned everything by myself. I learned how to French plait my hair at fucking like age 9. My own hair. Like, I just was such an independent child. And also, this might come along with like oldest child syndrome, but I also think it comes down to just the fact that I dealt with so much mentally on my own. No one was there for me. And when I say no one, I literally mean no one, okay? Teenager, I had a couple people, and they will know who they are. I'm a lost cause, but I'm not. I'm honestly fine now, which I'll talk about in the next video. Like, I'm not dying anymore. Like, I'm not looking at every fucking door frame to see if he's there, although probably now after speaking about it, I will think about it, but I'll try not to. But in terms of coping strategies, let things be. Just let it be, girl. Let it be, okay? I do think that's very important, to just let things play out how they play out. Trust the universe, trust timing. Everything will happen the way it's meant to happen. And no matter how shit your life is, no matter how good your life is, this will always apply. Sit with your feelings, let your feelings out, write them down, cry it out, tell someone, sit in a park or by yourself in the middle of a field and just cry it out. Drink. Okay, I mean, drinking's not the way to go, but like, if you need to get out, is what I'm saying. Like, if you need a night out, go have a night out. If you need to have a solo date, go have a solo date. If you need to go on a date, like with someone, go on a date with someone. If you need just quality time by yourself, honestly, being alone can really, really help you more than like sometimes being with someone else. I love you, Jake, and I know you watch all my videos, you freak. But sometimes I do feel like we need time to ourselves. I've literally taught him that. So, sometimes you just need time to yourself, and that's okay. I can't help but just feel bad for my younger self, because I went through it. I went through it, okay? I went through it. And also, something I haven't touched on yet. For some reason, I've not said about how I'm literally chronically ill. That should have happened in my first video. I don't think I said. We don't even know what's wrong with me, okay? No one knows what's wrong with me, which is just glorious. But I have chronic fatigue. So that's fun. I actually have hypermobility. That's disgusting. Okay, anyway. I just have a few things that are wrong with me. I can't lie. A few things that are wrong with me, and it is what it is. It's probably linked to that. Trauma and chronic illnesses are so closely linked. It's actually insane. Also, a really random fact, but if you didn't know, autism and PTSD are really closely linked. So if you've gone through something and you think you're like low-key autistic, also just look into the symptoms of PTSD, because they're practically the same. I really hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed this melancholy video. I look so good. Hello. Sorry, I'm literally like boosting my own ego. I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next Friday for the last episode of my trauma series. Bye.